Live from Nasdaq's MarketSite, I'm your host, Christina Ayanian. And joining me today is co-president, co-founder, and chief strategy officer of dLocal, Sergio Fogel. Sergio, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us.
To start us off, can you talk a little bit about dLocal, the customers you serve, and what your company mission is?
Yes, we process payments for the largest companies in the world in emerging markets. Emerging markets have very different payment systems, so we allow them to accept payments from their end customers, either through local payment methods or even credit cards, both cross-border and inside the country. And we also move money the other way around. We allow companies to pay their suppliers, freelancers, employees in emerging markets.
That's incredible. You're really bridging the gap and enabling businesses and customers to participate in the economy. It's a really inclusive mission that you have.
Yes, absolutely. We like to say that there's like a love between a consumer and a company which cannot materialize because there's friction in the middle, and that friction in most cases has to do with payments. And that's what the gap that we bridge.
You've mentioned the opportunity in gaining customers in emerging markets. Can you give a few case studies or examples?
Yes, of course. We serve all types of companies, ranging from companies like Netflix, that we allow them to accept payments in different countries in Latin America or even in Asia and Africa. Companies like large satellite internet providers, e-commerce companies, and then we have companies like Deal, which moves funds the other way around. They allow companies to pay for their remote employees, remote workers. Again, the names that we serve are the biggest names in the industry.
That's incredible. It really sounds like a holistic platform, one source to cover all the payment needs.
Yes, we like to call it one dLocal, which means that for our merchants, which are our customers, the internet companies, we offer them just one agreement, one contract, one technical integration, one conciliation, and just one counterparty to deal with. And then we hide all the complexity, and we allow them to process in 40 different countries seamlessly.
That's incredible. And you're really focused on the emerging markets and in really niche markets. How do you decide which markets you want to enter, and what is that process like?
The process, actually, it's very simple. We go to our existing customers and we ask them, where are you feeling the pain? Which market are you going to tackle next? Because normally it goes together with a merchant localizing their offering for a certain market, which means adapting the product. For instance, if you have the case of, let's say, Spotify, they will, before they enter a market, they will make sure to have enough content for that market. They need to customize their website in the local language, and they need to customize, of course, the payment methods, because otherwise consumer cannot pay. So that's the way we tackle it. We go to our existing markets, we tell them, okay, these are the 40 different markets that we are serving now. Where should we go next? And actually, we started in one country, that was Brazil. Then we expanded slowly to the whole of Latin America. And then one merchant challenged us. They told us, we like the work that we guys been doing. We haven't found a similar company in Africa. Why don't you guys go to Africa? And that's how we started with Africa. Today, we are covering many geographies in Africa and many in Asia as well.
And you've had, since your IPO, you've expanded more into Africa.
Yes, the last few years, we've expanded very, very aggressively in Africa. At one point, we really wanted to push very hard into Africa. So our other co-president, Jacobo, he moved last year. He went to live in Africa for almost a whole year. And now people are surprised that our numbers are growing very fast in Nigeria. And it's like Seba likes to say, it's a big surprise that was actually 4 years in the making. So there's a lot of work behind that. And once we're ready, it scales very quickly.
It really is a testament to your vision and your leadership and the hard work that you've really put into the company. One thing that really makes dLocal special is that customization factor that you mentioned. How do you customize your solutions in each market?
Well, it's not strictly that to customize it. We integrate with the local payment methods. So in every country, people manage to pay online. They just don't use the same payment methods we are used to in the US and Europe. It's not Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. It's, I don't know, Fawry if you're talking about Egypt, or it's Pix in Brazil, or it may be cash payment through OXXO in Mexico. So every time we go to a new market, we make sure to understand the local payment methods, integrate to those payment methods. We support today 900 different payment methods,
Wow.
which is a lot. It's a lot of maintenance as well. And then a big part of what to do is move money cross-border, which tends to be very challenging because most of these countries have different types of capital controls. So you cannot move money freely across borders. You need to request permissions to buy hard currency. And that implies getting licenses, working with the regulators, with the central bank normally, and they're going through a process that can be quite complex, quite involved.
It definitely is complex, and you're streamlining all of that, and you're also fostering global economic growth. So it's really commendable what you and the company have really created.
Thank you. Yes, we like to say that for most payment companies, if one day they are shut off, those transactions would happen, but would go some other way. In our case, in many of our customers, if we were shut off, those transactions wouldn't happen. So you would have an unhappy consumer, and you'd have, of course, a merchant that is losing the opportunity to sell. And the same thing in the other direction. You have today, we are serving today around 40 million people that are paying through us per month, and around 3.5 million people that are getting paid. So these are freelancers, remote employees, you name it, graphic designers, Uber drivers, all kinds of people that we are we are not the source of income, but we are the path through which they get paid.
Absolutely, you're propelling that. You're not only focused on the financial aspect, but it's also a type of knowledge sharing, and you're fostering cultural exchanges as well.
Yes, absolutely. And even inside the company, lately, most of our hires have been, well, initially we started in little Uruguay, we grew to Latin America, and lately a big part of our hiring is in Asia and in Africa. And we incentivize people to move from one country to the other. So we have people from Latin America working in South Africa and in Singapore, and we incentivize people moving around because that's a way to have our culture throughout the company in a more or less unified way.
Absolutely, and stimulate growth. Now, it's been 2 years since your IPO on Nasdaq, and your first investor day was recently as well. What's next for dLocal?
Well, I mean, it's been an amazing ride. As you said, it was 2 years ago that we were in this very building, and since then, our company is at least 3 times bigger in all the relevant measures. We are a bit more, probably 4 times the TPV, 3 times the revenue, 3 times adjusted EBITDA. Numbers are a bit above that. So it's an amazing growth story. And we are just scratching the surface. I told you we processed we did what we call payouts, which is paying remote workers, freelancers, etc. 3.5 million people. But we are serving a population of 4 billion people. Wow. So it's only 1 out of 1,000 people are getting paid through us. On the other directions, 40 million people paid through us in the last month. Again, 2 billion connected people, 4 billion, the population of the markets we serve. We are only scratching the surface. We have a lot of execution ahead. And that's what we are very proud of, how we execute, heads down, maybe not making too much noise, but executing.
Absolutely. It's just the beginning for you. And we're truly, truly so proud to be your listings exchange. From all of us at Nasdaq, we thank you for your partnership, and we look forward to supporting you on your continued growth. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
It's a big pleasure.